Hi guys, the episode that you're just about to listen to is generously sponsored by our affiliates Board Game Crate. Board Game Crate provide a monthly subscription service where they get fresh new games delivered straight to your door. Just head over to www.boardgamecrate.co.uk, and furthermore, if you use our discount code UnluckyFrogIsAwesome, all lowercase, all one word, you'll get a cheeky little discount. It's easy to remember because it's true. Hello and welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. You're joined by your usual hosts here, Josh Hartley and Ben Porter. Ben, how are we doing?
You get a wee smirk on your face as if you're expecting something.
I don't know. I'm in a good mood. I've had the day off.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just had a bit of a pyjama day. Haven't really done much. And now I'm here to record this episode and play some games.
Well, I was working out in the rain today. That was my day.
So, total opposite of me.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind the rain as much as some other people, but...
It's not pleasant though, is it?
No, but you just get on with it, don't you? Needs must.
Mm.
And all that, but it's been very dreich, as they say up here.
Yeah. Dramatic weather.
Yeah, biblical rain. Some might even say. So it's good weather for gaming. Bizarrely, we've not done all that much.
No, I've been busy in work and I've been struck down by a vicious man flu.
Yeah,
which is why my voice is a little bunged up.
Yeah.
But I have done a little bit though. We had our Pathfinder session on Tuesday, which I'll update you on briefly later on. But before we do that,
do you have some news items?
Let's hear it then.
Okay.
What's been going on?
So I saw this on one of the Age of Sigmar groups that I'm in on Facebook. This is a slightly more obscure news piece, but I thought it was worth mentioning because it raises some interesting points. Some Games Workshop fans have started a petition to get Games Workshop to take some responsibility for recycling sprues.
Okay. Yeah, just have like a little bin in each
a receptacle
store.
Or something, where like, you get them in supermarkets
like for batteries. Yeah.
So I think the guy that started this is thinking that there should be some sort of receptacle or other where the sprues are recycled.
Yeah, I mean it's a small gesture that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, they probably don't even have to, because correct me if I'm wrong, but those plastic sprues, they can just go in your, certainly up here anyway, they can go in your standard recycling, can't they?
As far as I'm aware, I think they can.
And I think most councils across Britain have rolled that out now. So
because it is pure plastic, there's no adhesive or anything like that, so I think most recycling plants would take them. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, I do agree with this. It would be nice to see Games Workshop step up.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, it wouldn't even necessarily be an awful lot of effort on their part, because presumably they have a recycling collection at their shops as well as we have in our domestic homes.
Yeah, the problem is I do know that depending on where your shop is sited, that the people that handle waste removal can levy additional charges.
Okay.
Depending on how much waste you're producing. So there is that, but at the same time, why should they be exempt from taking responsibility for their carbon footprint when so many other companies are doing that? And I know Lego is the biggest toy manufacturer in the world. They've now made a commitment to have, I think, all of their kits, or at least most of them, using plant-based plastic by 2020, I think it is.
Yeah, I've heard that. So, no, it's fair enough. Have Games Workshop responded in any sort of way then? Or?
I haven't seen yet, but I will need to check in on that. And certainly, if you're listening and you're aware of anything that's perhaps come from that, then do let us know. But it's something I think we've touched upon a couple of times. Is the problem that tabletop gaming isn't the most green.
No, it's sustainability is increasingly becoming an issue across all areas of our, consumer habits. So no, it's definitely the right thing to do, and hopefully, as you say, Games Workshop respond and step up in kind.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted on that, guys, as and when developments come out.
Yeah. Okay, so we recently had the Toy and Game Innovation Awards. They took place this month.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the prizes for that is the most innovative game
Okay.
of 2018. What do you think would have won that?
That's a tough call. Now, I wonder if it's because there's been a couple of games that have come out this year that have involved augmented reality apps as well. So Ben's shaking his head.
You're way off.
I'm way off.
Yeah.
What could be more innovative than augmented reality?
Shite, apparently. It is a game called Don't Step in It.
Right.
And it's about
not
stepping on poo.
in it. So how is it innovative? Tell me how this is innovative.
I don't know. You've got little spongy poos and... I don't know.
That's not innovation. Who... I'm genuinely quite angry now. Why did you tell me this? I was perfectly happy today before knowing that some game about stepping in dog shit has won some sort of industry award. What the hell?
I love how mad you are about that.
How's that even a game? That's not a game. I play that game every day outside as I go from the bus.
It's not a game, it's a hardship.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a horrible fact of life.
It's a damn nuisance, is what it is.
Maybe it's preparing children for one of the harsh realities of life.
I genuinely want to know their justification for giving that innovative game. How's this an innovative game?
Well, I agree with you. I obviously don't feel quite as strongly as you do. But
how does that not make you angry?
Well, because I've already read it.
I've
processed it, and I've come to the conclusion people are morons.
Yeah, you're right. We should. Good Lord, though. I'm flabbergasted.
The thing is, like, these people are allowed to vote and all that. It explains Brexit.
Does it, though?
They have stepped in it with that.
Way!
Yeah.
We're here all night, folks.
It's that unlucky frog nailing our colours to the mast since 2017.
We'll take a moment to express that we are politically no, I can't say that.
No. So dog shit game wins award. Yeah.
Literal dog shit game wins award.
Yep. There's been another Kickstarter controversy.
Okay.
Yeah.
How so?
This time it's Steamforged. It's not on the same... Granted, it's not quite as scandalous as like Space Goat or something like that.
Forgive me though, but Steamforged as in the people who made Dark Souls.
They made Dark Souls.
Resi 2? Was that Steamforged?
I think it was, yeah. Resident Evil, they've done Zero Dawn Horizon, or is it Horizon Zero Dawn?
I can't remember. I don't follow video games, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't play PlayStation games, so... Anyway, that one... and they also did the Critical Role minis.
Oh, yes.
They did that as well. I believe they're a Manchester-based company.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened is... It is worth emphasising that from what I was able to discern, it's only been... international customers, so it's customers that
based out with the UK.
Yeah, customers in particular, I think, who are not getting English language versions of the game.
Oh, right, okay.
So they're in the process of what they call the Wave 2 shipping. And a number of customers have been informed that they were unable to ship their items to them. And what they've done instead is they have issued these customers with a gift certificate for their store equal sometimes to half of the value of the stuff they'd bought.
Oh, it was sounding all right
Yeah.
up until you mentioned that, because, okay, it's not what you bought, you're not getting your money back, but you're getting an equivalent value
Yeah.
that you can most likely buy something else that you'd probably enjoy. It's still a bit of a gaff, but at least you're not completely out. Half, though?
Half.
What's the justification for that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's worth again mentioning here, Kickstarter is not a shop.
Yep, that was exactly my first thought.
It's a means of investing in a project. You're not a customer, you're an investor. Things go wrong with projects, and we're seeing it again and again where with these big Kickstarters, these companies, they're over-promising and under-delivering. In fairness to Steamforged, I believe most people do have Dark Souls now. They've got their copy. But I don't know if it's one of these ones where there's been some costs that they've not anticipated and they've tried to reach some sort of compromise on it. It's a bit ham-fisted.
Oh,
anyway. Hopefully some sort of resolution comes from that. Again, we'll be keeping an eye on that situation. If you're listening and you know any more about that, by all means get in touch with us. If you personally are involved and have not received items from Steamforged for the Dark Souls campaign, we'd like to hear from you in particular. It's becoming a common tale, I think, with Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly, and this is why you need to be careful and have realistic expectations.
Yeah.
You know, when you spend your money at a Kickstarter project.
I think when it comes to spending money on anything, a policy that I use myself is if I'm not sure about it, I just don't buy it. Because if you're not excited enough and enthused enough, you have to hesitate about something that's maybe a sign that it's not for you, you know? You're right there.
Yeah, I haven't made any
rash purchases
recently.
What have you done?
Oh, shut up. Alright, okay. Mind, a couple of episodes ago we were talking about Ultimate Masters. The fight, or as they say, final Masters set that Magic the Gathering is going to do. They said this is a bit like, to me, it feels a bit like when a band breaks up.
Yeah.
Or they go on hiatus.
It's
right?
like the
Permanent hiatus.
The Eagles farewell tour.
Yeah. How many times has that happened?
Yeah.
Right. So I suspect we'll see another Masters set when Wizards of the Coast want to print more money. But this is, for now anyway, the last one that they're going to do.
Okay.
And they've inflated the price of it.
And you bought it?
I pre-ordered it, yeah.
Okay.
But it looks really good!
But are you regretting it?
No. I'm not, but at the same time, there is a part of me that because it is the most I've spent on a single Magic the Gathering product. For full disclosure, I have paid £254. Okay? So what I get for that is 24 booster packs that have, it's all reprints, a lot of valuable cards,
more than that.
and you get a box topper card, which is a full art, like rare or mythic card. Yeah, I really hope I get my money's worth out of that too, frankly. But
Oh, you weren't kidding that you get 25 boosters?
you get 24 boosters and a box topper. Don't pull that face, man.
That's a lot of money.
I know it's a lot of money.
Okay.
I know it's a lot.
Well, I hope you and your booster box are very happy together.
I'm going to draft this with some friends at home, so that's going to be fun. We usually do it for the master sets anyway.
Okay.
I don't have to justify the way I spend my money to you. Look, right? We all make these sort of purchases. How much money have you spent on Games Workshop in the last 12 months?
Probably a lot. I've not spent 250 on a single purchase though.
No, that's fair.
Just to bring things into perspective here.
It's fine. It's fine. All right.
Okay.
But
yeah.
One off, like Christmas treat to myself. You know.
Okay.
So, you're still judging me. You're still. I can see it in your face. Shut up.
It's because I can see like you wrestling with yourself, like trying hopelessly to justify this purchase.
I know. I can't. You can't justify it. There's no way you can justify it. But in the same way that you can't justify spending hundreds of pounds on plastic toys, can you? Really? Can you?
Well, I suppose there's a certain argument. You know, like maybe if you had like a studio, and you're producing, you know, like display pieces or something like that.
But then, right, that's a business, and that's a raw material for for your product, right? As a consumer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In that instance, you could justify, I don't run a studio. I just collect them.
Yeah.
So
because I don't know. There's something. I think there's something quite satisfying about collecting something.
I would agree.
And, you know, okay, so that's been my most expensive ever single purchase of Magic the Gathering. Like, and I think we talked about it on a previous episode. My most expensive Magic card.
£40.
£40, the most I've spent on a single card, right? And that, to people who have no interest in Magic the Gathering, that's going to sound absolutely absurd. Why would a playing card be worth £40?
But then people spend £15 on cocktails.
Yes,
So
that's true.
yeah.
That's true. What if you're the guy who spends 250 odd on Magic the Gathering and £15 on cocktails?
Then you probably have more money than sense.
Yeah. You're also sitting at a very slim Venn diagram there, I think.
I think there's enough people in the world that there must be someone out there.
Just sipping on their cocktail.
Yeah, opening his booster pack.
Jan Crair again! I don't care. Another mojito waiter.
Yeah. Some lunatic in some really trendy nightclub somewhere.
Yeah. Just cracking packs of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
It's a new hipster thing.
That's
They
it,
don't even draft with them. That would make my blood boil.
They just throw them away when they're done.
Yeah. A new Lamog. Oh well. Chucks it away.
I remember my dad telling me when he was a wee boy, and his mum took him to London, and there was all these bankers cutting about in the bowler hats. Yeah. Because it was
standard issue. I have one at home.
It was the 60s, so and one of them dropped a fiver on the ground to see if someone would pick it up. Right. And my dad went over and picked it up. No.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
To them, it was hilarious that someone would deign to
try and pick up a fiver.
Bend down to pick up a fiver that they'd dropped.
And then decided to laugh at your father, who was a child at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those people were cartoons of themselves.
Yeah. Like, jokes on them. Down a fiver.
What were we talking about? Kickstarter, yes. We were kind of wrapping up on that. But Kickstarter, also notable, PAX.
PAX Unplugged, yep.
is happening. And for the first time at a convention, or at least as far as I'm aware anyway, Kickstarter have a stand where they're showing off some of their some of the board game projects.
It's the first instance of them doing this that I'm aware of as well. Mm-hmm. And there's a cynical little part of me that can't help but think that they've had a run of bad news recently. They're getting a bit of a bad reputation. Are they maybe trying to recover some of that?
Oh, maybe.
By giving a platform to other creators. If they are, it's obviously they've got very selfish motivations for doing that. You know, it is still a business at the end of the day. I hope it's something that they continue to do.
Yeah, I think I think it makes sense. They obviously made quite a lot of money through the board game market, so it makes sense for them, makes sense for convention goers, it makes sense for creators as well.
Yeah, but it used to be on Kickstarter that if you had a pretty good idea and a fairly fleshed out pitch for it, mm-hmm. that you were probably going to fund. But over recent years, we've started...
Oh, you need a finished product.
No, but what I was going to say is we're starting to see these bigger companies eating up more and more of the market.
Yeah.
So my hope is that they do remember that what made Kickstarter was that it was a place for innovation mm-hmm. during a time where companies that already were quite risk averse became even more so. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of great ideas and great creations that were allowed to flourish through that. And the problem is that if Kickstarter becomes a bit too corporate, it just becomes like all those other companies.
Yeah, it becomes a shop window.
Yeah.
You may as well just go to Amazon.
Yeah. So hopefully it's a good sign that they're doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
And as you say, PAX Unplugged is in full flight at the moment. Will be for this weekend.
Yep, as is Dragonmeet as well.
So this is a London convention, more of an emphasis on RPGs, it has to be said.
Aye, but they still do like board gaming and trading cards as well.
Yeah. So there's a bit of everything.
They run the full gamut.
That's it. So that will be in full swing.
We've never actually been. I mean, it's bizarre, but it's actually a little awkward to get to London from Glasgow. So
yeah, it's Birmingham is really easy for us to get to. Is that I think we've said before? It's actually easier for us to get to Birmingham than it is to get to a lot of the north of England.
Aye, because it's just one direct train.
Yeah.
And it's one direct train to London, admittedly, as well, but London's so vast when you get there as well.
Yeah. Trying to get from A to B in London at times is an absolute pig.
Aye.
And accommodation is very expensive there as well.
Unless you've got a pal who lives there.
Yeah, which we do.
Yeah.
So we should probably go to Dragonmeet at some point.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's the conclusion to this. But for those of you who are listening and are going, we hope you've enjoyed the convention. Because you're probably listening to this after it's all finished and wrapped up. We're looking forward to seeing what news and bits and pieces come out of that weekend.
Absolutely.
Have we got anything further on the news agenda?
I think news-wise that about covers it, so we can probably talk about what we've been up to. Yes,
so as I said right at the start of the episode, we had our final Pathfinder session for the year the other night, because our next one, we're going to have a bit of a Christmas night out instead. So it's a lot of it was sort of setting up for the next story arc. Looks like we're going to be investigating these drow that have been... Well, did drow do anything other than get up to no good? I don't know.
This is the old fantasy racial profiling again.
So, it's not racial profiling if it's true. But yeah, in all seriousness, for some reason, drow always seem to be evil. So, there we go.
They do have a pretty dark culture, it has to be said.
Yeah. Lolth and all that.
Yeah.
So we'll be picking up that in the new year, and I'll keep you guys informed as to what goes on with our campaign on that front. Other gaming wise,
although we've not been doing a whole lot of gaming of late, we did play Keyforge.
Aye, this was your first crack at it, my second.
It was.
What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm going to read out the name of my deck for people who have not heard what it is yet. So, my deck is called Advanced Miss Loon, the Omniscient Bookbinder.
Sounds very fancy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It sounds quite scholarly, but it's actually quite an aggressive deck.
Yeah. It didn't. The name didn't quite match the theme.
Brobnar, Untamed, and Logos.
Yeah, just beat stuff with a bit of tech.
With a bit of cybernetic augmentation.
Oh,
yes.
There we go. Was I can't quite remember the name of my deck, but it was...
You were the town captain.
Yeah, it was some... So-and-so, the town captain. It was very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Because we've been seeing online all these ridiculous names for them, and you get that, and it's like, oh, well, I'm disappointed now. But what are your thoughts on the game?
Honestly, I don't play as many card games as you, but I've played a few. I think although you're quite invested in Magic, I've probably played quite a lot of different card games.
Yeah.
Because I've played a lot of the online ones and things like that.
Yeah.
Keyforge isn't all that different from a lot of the card games on the market.
Yeah, I have to agree, and as I said in a previous episode that I was a little underwhelmed when I first played it, and safe to say that feeling's still persisting.
Yeah.
I do want to try it again a little bit more, maybe, but just in case there's something I'm missing. But it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is. Right?
I've got some thoughts on it.
Okay.
If you'd like to hear them out.
Well, we're a podcast about board gaming, so
Yes,
we probably should share
It'd be rude not to.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that immediately you say to people who are quite enthusiastic about Keyforge, you say to them, to me, it's just like any other card game. They'll counter with, it's not, because the main cut and thrust of the game is mining the ember.
Yeah.
Is gaining this resource. It's still not all that different from other card games, because if you substitute a few words out, the mechanic is identical. Really, the ember is just health.
Yep.
In any other card game, because you take games like Magic the Gathering, Light Seekers, Age of Sigmar Champions. There's a lot of things that allow you to replenish health and to damage the health of other people. Keyforge has that.
Yep.
I had a card in particular that whenever it entered play, it took 2 ember off you. You could.
It was really annoying.
You could in other games change that to deal 2 damage to the controlling player. It is identical. It's just clever use of phrasing that makes it feel like it's different. One of the things I've also seen people say is that they talk about Keyforge being an engine builder. Every card game is an engine builder.
Yeah, to some extent, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is there's no... the spirit of the game, anyway. There's no deck building in it, and whether that's like a good thing or a bad thing for you is completely dependent on what you're looking for.
It's a double-edged sword, because I think one of the problems, as we've discussed with Underworlds and Magic before, is that when a game's out for a certain amount of time, you start to see the same decks.
Yeah, it gets solved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that with Keyforge, because you have your deck and that's it. You never amend it. At the same time, though, I think what's going to happen is eventually people will want to have some constructed format for it.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Once the initial charm of the unusual distribution model wears off. And that again, the names on the decks and all that's a pretty cool little gimmick, but the distribution model's not really all that different from booster packs. It's just instead of buying booster packs, it's
an entire deck. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like we've got nothing good to say about it, and that's not the case. It's clearly a very well polished and designed game.
Yeah.
The art is characterful.
I do have to say about the art, I feel like I've seen it before, and when I went home and thought about it.
Oh right.
See, have you heard of a game called Battleborn?
Yeah.
See if you look up the artwork for that.
Yeah,
it's pretty close.
It's a similar sorts. Well, there's a few different tropes within Keyforge. Like the Martian faction is
they're a bit unusual,
different to. Well, I mean, they're the classic UFO green alien men.
Yeah,
but it's very different to what we normally see in this sort of game.
Yeah, that's true. But as for the other factions, they're not all that different from a lot of the stuff, in particular in Battleborn.
But it's not badly presented.
No, it looks nice,
yeah.
But it's not all that different. It's that sort of heroic, colourful, high fantasy / sci-fi Blizzard style presentation. Yeah. So, having said all that, I think the reason that Keyforge is doing so well is not because it's an exceptionally well designed game. It is a good game. It's not an exceptional game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been marketed very well.
Oh yeah.
Obviously that's something Fantasy Flight do very well. But one of the things that I've noticed is that the way it's advertised and the way it's presented, they're selling it to board gamers
rather than
card gamers.
I know I said this previously, and this is not a game for competitive trading card players.
No, and I suppose the nice thing is that it's probably more accessible to kids.
Yeah,
and a lot of people probably do decry that statement, but you ask any gamer that has kids, that's important.
Oh yeah,
that's very important. And the fact that you have the deck building element removed makes it even more accessible to kids,
and play.
Especially younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that is all to the good. We did talk the other week, if you remember, about trends and things coming in cycles. Because we were saying that with video games, you had this period in the 80s where they were just hurling ideas at the wall to see what would stick, to the point where things were getting rushed out, and you had E.T. and then they buried it in the desert because it was so awful and everyone wanted to forget about it. And you had that again, it reared its head again in 2013 with video games, where you had a run of AAA titles that were just getting rushed out to meet deadlines and frankly were half-baked. Feels a bit like the card game frenzy of the 90s has come back around a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It will be interesting to see which ones stick around, though. Yeah. Age of Sigmar Champions as a game is very different, and I like it, but I agree with you. I have concerns with how it was balanced, and that the damage might have been done. That might have turned off enough people off of it to stop it from growing and having longevity. Obviously, I
have seen a lot of people in some of the groups that I'm in not just selling cards but selling their entire collections.
There we are. There's also, and there's been a slew of games lately that have come and gone, like Weisschwartz. There's a Dragon Ball Z trading card game that has gained some traction. Even Final Fantasy, they had a crack at it. It's very difficult to knock the big three off their podium. Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh!
He that shall not be named.
Yeah, the Voldemort of tabletop games. Yeah. No offense if you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! You do you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those 3 games have been around for a very long time in this, for the scale of this industry, and no one's really challenged them.
Pokemon's a solid game. That is a really
Pokemon's
good game.
Magic the Gathering,
Yeah.
the original, and I would argue best.
Yeah.
I admit it's flawed, but
yeah,
I know you. Yeah,
the Magic community and I don't quite see eye to eye.
no, I know.
Yeah. But you're right. I think that I think part of the reason that those games have lasted, it's a bit like these singers like David Bowie and Madonna, their ability to reinvent themselves. Yeah. And although you've still got the same tried and tested formula with Magic and Pokemon, they're not afraid to try things
experiment,
that are a little bit different.
And that's the beauty with Magic the Gathering setup in terms of its the fiction behind it, is that they can because it's a multi-planar setting, they can just go to a different. They can just create a new setting. Just all right, we're gonna do a setting about dinosaurs and pirates and vampire conquistadors. And people
I do still want to try that out at some point.
What
I do, because I like the sound of that.
It was all right.
All right.
It was all right. The theme was cooler than the actual gameplay of that set.
Sometimes that's all that matters.
But the last 2 sets have been fantastic. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm forgetting there was a core set in between the 2 of them. But Guilds of Ravnica... Ravnica is an amazing setting, and I love Guilds of Ravnica. Mm-hmm. And Dominaria is a really good return to form for them as well.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So in summary, Keyforge...
Meh.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not as revolutionary as it's been made out to be.
Yeah. But
some clever rewording to make things feel a bit more different than they really are. Just a couple quick more announcements. We're ramping up to Game of the Year.
Yes.
So if you've got anything in particular that you would like to have considered for that, let us know and we'll look into it.
Suggest Fog of Love, it'll really annoy Ben.
They do have to have been released.
Just not even acknowledging
Moving
it.
on. They do have to have been released
within 2018.
Yeah, so that's January the 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018.
So Game of the Year could still be getting released soon.
Could be.
Who knows?
Could be.
Who knows?
There's a couple we're considering, but we'll talk about that later. And then the other thing is the Lucky Sparrow gaming cafe.
Of course, yes.
Is now open for business.
There we go. You guys were at the press event.
We were.
Rubbing shoulders with the good and the great of Glasgow's board gaming scene.
Yep. Played a really shit game.
Oh.
Called Yardmaster Express. Don't play it. It's like Sushi Go but shit.
Right. Sold.
Yeah. It was really bad.
Okay.
Really bad.
But the cafe's nice.
Cafe's nice.
Yeah.
The staff are all great. Really enthusiastic. It was great catching up with Owen Duffy, who is the editor for the board game book.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention contributor for The Guardian as well.
The Guardian as well, and Vice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we saw Jamie from The Giant Brain as well.
There we are.
And there was a few other people, but that was who I spoke to.
Right, yeah. Anyway. Thank you very much for listening to us rambling for 40 minutes.
Yes.
Until next time, guys, you take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi there, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. This is Ewan Bowers for the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. Executive producer. I believe that's my title. I believe I put enough into the Patreon. You too can put money into the Patreon. It's highly recommended. It helps these guys out. But if you're too cheap, there's always the Twitter and the Facebook page. You can get those on just searching Unlucky Frog Gaming. And there's also a website, www.unluckyfrog.com.
I want to be a producer. You can't. There can only be one producer, Tom.